So you're successful, not happy. Here's why. So up until this point, you already have a good job or a good form of revenue coming in, but you still don't feel fulfilled, might feel lost. So this video will basically cover 2 steps that you can do to actually put you back on track where you're at. You're already successful. You know, when it comes to wealth, there's just all these other areas. There's a couple different areas in life where you can work on. But a lot of the times, it's kind of like having a yacht. Like you have a multi-million-dollar yacht and you're in the middle of the ocean with no North Star, no destination. What good is it if you have nowhere to go? You're just like literally just floating there. You're gonna get to a point in time where you're just like, dude, what am I doing? You know? And I feel like whenever I had money, I didn't really know any of this stuff, you know, because I hadn't read a book yet at that point. And I was already making a lot of money. I was running a big crew. And so this video is going to break down 2 things that you can do that will actually give you where you can narrow down your purpose and where you actually need to work on. And the first step is going 7 levels deep. Might be thinking, if you're watching this, well, what do you mean about going 7 levels deep? Well, think about it like we're like an onion, you know, and every layer you peel just gets one layer closer to the center. And so by going 7 levels deep, you actually get to the real reason why you're doing these certain things. Let's take the wealth part of life or the money making part of life, for example. Like, why do you want like a significant amount of cash? I know for me, this is just speaking for me, if I go 1 layer deep, what's important about that? Well, it's like, well, I grew up without. So, you know, I don't want to feel that same way again. And then you can ask one of these questions. Well, what would that do for you? Well, you know, I can have like resources, and if I wanted to do something, I can just get up and go do it. And you can switch it up. Either question works to go another layer deep. So that's 2 layers deep, right? And then I would go a third. Well, why is that important? What's important about that? Well, what's important about that is I remember the feeling when I was a kid, you know, and I couldn't work. I was like 11, 12, and I wanted to do stuff and I couldn't. We didn't have a car, we didn't have anything. I don't want to ever feel like that. I don't want nobody around me to feel like that. And then, okay, well, why is that important to you? And then you keep going until finally you get to the real reason. And I got this from a book called The Extraordinary Mind. In that book, he talks about how he went 7 levels deep. It's a really good book, actually. And I read this back in 2016, I think. I think it just came out. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but it was around 2015, 16. I came across this book. And I actually did this. And before, since I was just so used to making money, I already had like, you know, over a decade making money. I didn't really even know why I wanted to have money. People would ask me like, well, why do you want more stuff? Why do you want more stuff? You already have this. Why? When is it going to be enough? And I never really like sat down and with myself to reflect on why this stuff even mattered to me. So this is the first step. Step 2 is designing the pillars, the 5 pillars. The idea basically behind this is that you're already successful, let's say in finance, right? You're already good with this one. And this is a projection of like 10 years out. This is not right now. This is not today. And this is to point out the other areas that you're weak at. Let's say in 10 years from right now, where do you want to be, like in spirituality or faith? Doesn't matter if you believe in religion or the universe or whatever, but just being aligned in general. If you're just barely getting started. Now, if you're religious, well, obviously you want to be closer to God. But if you're barely getting started and you know there's a higher power, then work on getting that part, you know, closer to where you want to be at in 10 years. Like, where do you want to be at with that? Talking about like the law of attraction, like be the person you want to become. Like, get on that right frequency. Now, if you're religious, obviously, if you're barely starting religion, then you want to get closer to God, no matter what religion you're in. The self-mastery, where do you want to be? Basically, as a father, as a parent, as a brother, as a sibling, as a business owner, as an employee. Like, where is it that you want to be in 10 years from now? When it comes to a family, what kind of relationship do you want with your family? Whether it be close friends, you call them like your inner circle, your kids, your brother, your sister, whoever it may be, your parents, anybody. What kind of relationship do you want with them? And one of the things that I do, I try to at least call somebody every week that I haven't talked to in a while, just to catch up, not to ask them for anything. So that's a little bonus. When it comes to fitness, in 10 years, if you're not working out right now and you're overweight, you're struggling breathing, in 10 years, do you want to still feel the same way? Or do you want to actually be able to run around with your kids? Or do you want to where do you want to be in 10 years? Hey, listen, man, this is your life, not mine. You're the one designing it. I mean, it's not, I don't even know who's watching this thing, to be honest with you. I'm just talking to the camera as if it was myself on the other side of the camera, fast forwarding it. What took me 10 years basically to gather all this information, just a shortcut basically for whoever's watching this video, but I'm talking to my younger self basically. So when it comes to fitness, in 10 years, what kind of shape do you want to be in? Do you want to be fit? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be able to run? Do you want to be, if you don't have kids right now or you do have kids and they're small, do you want to be able to play football with them in 10 years still? What does that look like? Finances, well, you probably already got this down. Basically, where do you want to be at in 10 years with your finances? What does that look like? And the whole point of doing all this exercise is not just some wish-wash stuff. The whole point is going back to what I was saying about that yacht. All this gives you a North Star. This is the point of direction. If you put in the work yourself, now you actually know what you need to work on, and then give yourself, increments of a time frame. Let's say you want to get started going to the gym. Well, are you going to go once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week to get started? Just get in there, just show up, start a new habit. This is just the North Star. Because we're not thinking about any of this shit. We're just thinking about how to get what's the next move. That's all we're thinking about. That's all I'm thinking about is at the time, I was thinking about, okay, well, what's the next move? What's the next move? I never really thought about having to take care of the fitness. I had never worked out before. I made all this money and I never worked out before. I was just always on the go, 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 go. I believed in the universe. I was right here. I was right here. I hadn't worked on none of this stuff, just my finances. There was probably not one thing I couldn't get in that I didn't want. It was just a matter of when. As long as if I knew I wanted it, it wasn't a matter of can I afford it. It was a matter of when can I get it. And so that was the mindset. So if you're anything like me and you're watching this video, do this exercise to see where you want to be at in 10 years, and you'll create a blueprint of where it is what you need to do to get you there. Create the bridge. You know what I mean? Go back to step 1. If at any point in time after you put in the work and you figure all this stuff out, go back to step 1 whenever you don't want to go to the gym and you said you're going to go 3 times a week. Go back to your why and just keep pushing. You know what I mean? But this video basically is you're lacking in any of these areas of your life. Now you know why you feel the way you do. Because let's say you have 3 out of 5, right? 3 areas out of this. You're still missing 2 and you still feel kind of messed up. You're just man, dude, I don't know. What's the point? What's the point of all this? Well, it's because you're lacking in the other 2 areas, whatever areas that may be. And this is you're not going to get this right, every single time. Going to be some weeks where you don't make a phone call. There's some weeks where stuff happens because life's, man. Life is life, and you know what I mean? So, and that's all right. But as long as you work, just try to be 1% better a day. Try to be 1% better a day. And this will change your life. Change the trajectory of your life. Wherever it is you're at right now to where you're going to be at. And you look back and be like, damn, that was pretty crazy. That one video. Miles, you got come back, and I'm going to wait a couple months, maybe a couple years, come back to this video and just leave a comment. If you actually put in the work and did all this stuff. Because this is a shortcut, man. This thing took me years of trying to figure out and moving to other states, trying to figure this stuff out, just figure out life in general. But hey, if you like this video, if you saw any value out of it, I saw there's 46% of you that are watching the videos that are not subscribed. So we'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that way the algorithm on YouTube can pick it up and it can help other people out just like yourself.